Probate expert, and I'm with my sidekick, Patricia Castillo. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining our call today.
And this is our home buying seminar we do every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we record it and put it on our social media. Talk about what it takes to go from not owning a house to owning a house. And we have 7 steps we've identified. When we review those steps, we oftentimes bring guests on to go in detail. But Patricia and I are both active real estate brokers in the business, in the market every day doing this. We're going to share with you the tips and tricks of those people who are successful in getting into the end zone of being able to buy either first home or in this market, being able to trade up to a bigger home. So Patricia, we want to talk today about mindset.
Right.
So what do you see when you talk to somebody the buyers who've bought versus the buyers who just didn't get there? What do you see the differences in their mental approach to the process?
So I do have, I'm actually going through that right now with a client that just missed the mark last year in purchasing a home. And, there is that feeling of having some kind of setback. And so what I'm talking to her about is just remembering what the main reason was. What was her why in wanting to own a home? And so we keep circling back to that because I want her to hold on to that vision and that dream of owning her own home and seeing herself in it, and just focusing on, her decor and what it's going to look like when she's there, having those family gatherings again, celebrations and family dinners in her own home. And so that's part of the mindset that I really am working on right now with some clients that just, have gotten their offers beat for whatever reason, or just didn't end up purchasing a home last year. And so they need to keep moving forward and stay focused on the why. And why is it that they wanted to own a home in the first place, and not let that go. You have to hold on to that vision and see yourself in your home. And so that's what we're working on right now, because it is competitive, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
It's still competitive. And that's the thing that buyers have to understand, that home prices have gone up in the last year 10, 15%, right? Do you see that? Where a house that last year was 600,000, this year is about 690. Number two, the payments have gone up. The interest rates have gone from below 3 to 5.25%. You're talking about significant increase in payments, and still there's way more people looking to buy than there are homes available. There's still record low inventory. Why do you think that is? Is because why are more people looking for it? Because it's still a good deal to own a property versus renting. Rents are going up. And if you want to live in a certain type of lifestyle, you have to buy it. Do you see that? Do you see that, what alternative do buyers have? They can be frustrated, and I appreciate that, disappointed, but what's the alternative? I was asking, what do you want to do at this point?
Right. And I keep focusing on the goal to buy a home, because this way you're protected from rental increases, price fluctuations in the market, and getting locked in at a rate. So right now, I've been hearing, well, the rates are higher and I don't know if I can afford that, but don't focus on the rates. Focus on the rates, but don't let that control your decision, because you're still going to buy within your means, even if the rates are higher. And the rates aren't always going to be this high. They are going to go down at some point, at which time you can refinance. That's how I bought my house. I bought it with an FHA loan, and I had the mortgage insurance premium, which I wasn't too happy about, but I wasn't going to let that derail me from my dream of buying another home. So I refinanced after about 1.5 years, lowered my payment, got rid of the PMI, and here I am in my home, just the way I had envisioned myself. So
when you buy your house, what was the rate?
It was about 4%, close to 4%.
Plus the MIP.
Right, which was about $250 a month.
Okay.
Plus
so
my insurance.
We'll call it 4.5%, let's say.
Yeah.
And so did you get a chance to refinance at a lower rate?
I did.
What rate are
So
you at today?
now I'm at 3.25.
There you go. And
Right.
so it doesn't mean you're guaranteed that, but in general, things go up, things go down. The nice thing about refinancing is you get a 30-year fixed rate, you're locked in. It'll never be more than what it is when you get the loan, but
Mhm.
it can go down. And if it does, take advantage of it, right?
Right. Absolutely. I was speaking to another client that, she just preferred to rent last year, wanted to check out this neighborhood and, for personal reasons and said, I'm just going to live here about a year, see how it goes. But the owner decided not to renew the lease. So it's coming up on the 11th month and she's having to relocate again. And since then, I mean, rents have gone up in the last year. So, that's why it's so important to just not let all of you've been talking a lot about the news and the media and how they just inflate things to make it sound like it's just really not a good time to buy right now. But it's quite the opposite, because if I had not purchased my home when I did, I'd probably still be renting somewhere, paying an astronomical amount of rent, and I would have no forced savings plan. When you buy a home, it's almost like a forced savings plan because you end up building wealth through that equity. So my home is now worth over 700,000 and I bought it for 4.
And have you looked at recently what it would cost to rent the home you're in now?
About 3,000.
It's eye-opening when you look and see what it costs to rent the
Yeah, it's
house
about
you're in. Like,
3,000.
oh my gosh, I said to my wife, honey, we couldn't afford to live here anymore. What the heck has gone on?
Right.
Right? We're 63, we have grandkids nearby, and like, if you, the people who said last year and lost a couple offers, maybe, well, I'll just wait till next year when things calm down, they're more intense
Hmm.
and prices are higher and rates are higher. I don't know they will continue forever. I don't have a crystal ball. What I do know is today, there's still way more buyers than there are sellers. I was just talking to a loan officer who they do a lot of advertising on Zillow. And he was
Hmm.
really discouraged because I was talking to him about, inviting his clients to come to our home buyer seminar. And he said to me, I have so many buyers, I don't even know what to do with them all. Now, that's because he's not properly finding out who's really motivated or not motivated. Just because somebody fills the form on Zillow doesn't mean they're ready to buy. And we hope when you're ready, raise your hand. Let's talk and get serious and get prepared. But there's still way more buyers than there are properties because everything's gone up in value and everything's up in
Sure.
cost over the past couple of years.
Hmm.
So what's the goal? Like, what's your goal, Patricia? You bought the house. It seemed like, I'm sure when you moved into it, like you tightened your belt, held your breath, squeezed into the tightest jeans you ever had in your life to get into the house, right? Now today the payment's gone down. You got rid of the
Right.
MIP. Your equity's gone up, so you're feeling rich. How's it feel? How many years has it been, and how's it feel by comparison?
Well, it's going on. This is my 7th year living here. And I'm just, really excited. I'm happy that I made that decision. And I'm proud of myself for not stepping back because I had a really slim window to get into a house. I had
Right.
6 months from the time that I received my loan pre-approval letter. And I had some other things going on in my personal life. So I had to make that move in 6 months.
Right.
So every weekend, my daughter and I were going out looking for homes. And some people ask me, well, how's this neighborhood and how's that neighborhood? And I just went by myself to go. I literally sat at the corner of this house where I live now and just sat there one day at night just to kind of see what kind of activity is happening. Are there people hanging out at night that looks kind of sketchy, or is it looking more of like a family oriented neighborhood? So there's different things that, I think about. And had I let all the little voices in my head that were talking about, maybe you can't do this, you're a single mom, you still have a kid in high school, and you need to think about the future, and what if you can't afford it? But I had to cancel all those thoughts out and just
Right.
move forward with my why and my goal. And my goal was to buy a home and live here with, my daughter and have family gatherings. And I envision myself here and making it my own. And that's what I want for other people that I come in contact with that say they want to buy a house and they want, for the same reasons, they want to leave some form of legacy for their children or their family. And this is the best way to start. I mean, there's nothing that's going to beat inflation. I mean, inflation is going to keep going up, but if you invest in real estate, and even if it's just your primary residence, I mean, that's a phenomenal start right there.
Patricia, we got a great question on your Facebook account because we're seeing it live there from Tim Violet. In the buying process, when can you lock in your rate?
Your career.
Hold on a second. I accidentally turned on Clubhouse. What was the question?
When in the home buying process, when can you lock in your rate?
So I locked in my rate when I knew I was going to start shopping for a home, because my rate, the rates change daily. So I got my loan approval and it was pretty close to it once my loan approval was issued, because I knew I was going to start going out and shopping for homes. So it was pretty close to the time that my loan approval was issued. Yeah.
So you did that when you started locking. Who did you get your loan through?
It was through a broker.
Because not everybody locks the rates. And the thing I would caution buyers on is there are people who will say the rate's locked, but then won't deliver the loan if the rates go up. So you have to be a little careful. And I think also when you get a rate lock, your lock is only as good as the document, the guarantee they're giving you. Oftentimes you have to clear contingencies, you have to close in a certain time period. So you want to make sure that you do that, or otherwise your rate lock won't be good. But work with your lender. Patricia and I have had several lenders on this call, and we want to make sure that we can deliver what we promise. And so when you start the process, some lenders will allow you to lock and shop, others won't. And in some cases, the lock and shop may not be of value to you if you can't close in a certain time period. So let's make sure when we talk about that, we talk to Patricia or your lender, make sure you're clear what your goals are.
Right. And for me, I knew I was shopping to buy something, really quickly. And so that was my goal, was to get into a home. And I had my eye on this house already. I mean, it's not happening in today's market, but this property had been, it's in a cul-de-sac, and some people don't like cul-de-sacs. It doesn't have a front yard. I was okay with that. Has a big backyard, but not a front yard.
Nice.
It was a probate. So it had been on right up your alley, Bill, had been on the market for over a month. So I called the agent and I knew I had a really good chance of buying it. So It just worked out. Yeah.
Nice. So knowing the inside of the deals. So again, the key here is it doesn't matter what everybody else does. It matters what you do. And the thing, I have a weekly email on the real estate market, and I think that it's important to look at the data and look at the numbers. And in Patricia's case, when she shopped, she was able to lock in the rate, but you need to know that the rate's good, who the lender is. She had a relationship with the lender at the time. We want to help you get the same thing. We want to help you get the same service. If you have questions, it's meant to be interactive. We just had a question come off of the Facebook feed. We're also live on YouTube. So you're welcome to ask questions there, or if you're on the Zoom call, you can put a question in the chat box, or you can raise your hand using the Zoom if you want to, and we're more than glad to answer your questions there. If on you wave your hand, I'll try to catch you as well. But I don't see anybody with a hand waved at this point. Let's see real quick.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions? We all learn from each other when we're asking questions. Somebody might be thinking the same thing that you're asking. So this is a really great time to ask Bill and I questions. Bill was in the financing industry before for many years, and so he's a wealth of knowledge for us. So if anybody has any questions, just unmute yourself and jump right in.
So we talked about the motivation, the mindset. Tell me about the last people, your last buyers that you sold a house to. I think it was a lady who sold a house and then bought a house, right?
Yes.
Your last buyer?
Right.
That can
So
be treacherous in this market. How did that feel when you closed that transaction and she got the keys and moved in? How did that feel?
just unbelievable. I mean, so, we were both so excited that, first of all, that we had an offer accepted with a contingency to sell. I mean, that's pretty tough to get your offer accepted in this market with a contingency to sell. So, she leveraged her equity in her home. She had bought her home in Los Angeles, closer to South Central, and she moved to a nicer, a 10-year-old home in Lake Elsinore in Canyon Lake. And so it was a complete upgrade for her, and not to mention the size. So she was just ecstatic, just happy. And I was so, glad that I was a part of that journey with her, and that I was able to help her achieve her goals of selling her home for top dollar, and, getting into the home that she envisioned herself in.
So it can
it
be
was
done.
really
Even,
exciting.
even it sounds impossible in this market. She found a property, which is hard, and she got them to accept the offer while she was contingent on selling her house, which is another challenging pickle that you got these buyers through.
Right, exactly. It was, I mean, a lot of work, but it was well worth it. And that's why you really need a strong real estate agent by your side, because they'll walk with you every step of the way, negotiate terms on your behalf, and just navigate through that process.
And you have somebody on your side who's helping you. And one of the mistakes buyers make is they want to work with the listing agent. Well, the listing agent's under contract with the seller. And as a listing agent, I'll tell you, my loyalty has to be first with the person who I signed a contract with, right? I have a job. They hired me to sell their house.
Mhm.
If I work with you as a buyer, it has to fit in that parameter. Whereas when the buyer's agent, their only loyalty is to you. And so you have somebody who's there on your side helping you through the process. So I think that's what we wanted to cover today, was really the mindset aspect of buying a property. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you to talk further or see if buying is right for them, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure. So the best way to reach me is my cell phone. I love phone calls, and I usually always answer my phone. And that number is 323-365-9909.
Great. 323-365-9909. And if I want to follow you on social media, you're on the IG. What's your handle there?
Yes. So I'll put it here in the chat, but it's Patricia Castillo Sells LA, and that's for Facebook and Instagram.
You put it in Instagram. Do you have to have the accent, or can you gringo it and just say Patricia Castillo?
Patricia Castillo Sells LA. Yes.
Any way you want to do it, just call her up, or get with her on Instagram and shout out and say hi. Tell her if you do talk to her off of this, if you sing this call we're doing today, mention the call. And we love to answer questions. We do this because we want to help people be successful in their quest in increasing their income and building wealth. And the fastest way to do that is by buying a property. So thank you, everybody, for being on the call today. I'm Bill Gross on behalf of Patricia Castillo. We do this every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We also record it and live stream it on YouTube and Facebook. Hope to see you again next week. Or in the meantime, give us a call or shout out. Thank you.